All right, it's Capital City Podcast. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
And tonight, we're going to talk to my man, Herukhuti Ausar, a man who has seen the streets.
Can you say the name again?
Herukhuti Ausar. Ain't that right? I got it right.
Sir. Yes,
there it is.
Sir. Herukhuti Ausar. That's right. You got it right.
Ausar.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah. And you can say ice too, because the streets know ice, so you can say ice as well. A lot of people still identify with ice well, so there ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, AKA
if that's easier for you.
Right, AKA Ice from the streets.
Mm-hmm. I might say Ice.
Ice. Yeah. We'll take it there. Now, why are we talking to this man? Well, he spent time as a hip hop artist, but he also knows the streets very well, and he's had his time with the legal system. So,
better believe it.
Yep, and I seen this dude go from dealing with the legal system, putting his own music out, and moving to Cali and becoming more of an executive producer. So he's worn many hats out here. And, we also talk on several podcasts about the connection between the streets and this music. So I like to talk to people who can verify firsthand and tell their side of the story. And this man got a very good one. So first off, let's get a little bit of background. Who is Ice? Tell us a little bit about your story pre-hip-hop.
Okay. Pretty much, I grew up in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. Single parent, home, pretty much product of my environment. Fell in love with the killers and drug dealers, and built a reputation for fighting in the days before gunplay. I'd rather let my city tell my story, but I will express it. After the fighting days, I kind of graduated to the gunplay era, robbing, and in 1993 I made it to the feds, which pretty much changed my life. I call it the Federal University. I was extremely ignorant, pretty much a savage, man, and still was a savage for a while in the federal system. But I was blessed to enter the feds because I probably would have been killed or murdered. A lot of people thought I was going to get killed in prison because I was wilding in prison too, and had nothing changed.
How long did you do?
I did 6 years. Yeah, I did 6 years. Best 6 years of my life.
From what
Best
age?
6 years of my life. I was 20. Yeah, and I came home at like 26 years old. Yes, sir.
So,
and go ahead.
And what sent you to prison?
Actually, I shot a guy and a girl. Yeah, I shot him and his girlfriend. And then I got on a wreck and flipped over my 1993 Eddie Bauer on New Bern Avenue, Raleigh, North Carolina, 5 o'clock traffic. Flipped over about 5 times, and the feds, got guns out my car and stuff like that. And if you was considered violent in them days, the feds was really picking you up. So they picked me up in a couple of months and indicted me.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't gonna act like my listeners probably don't want to know. Like, damn, bro, what happened?
Yeah, is that as far as you want to go into that story? Or you care to elaborate for us?
No, I'll elaborate on the story. What you want to know everything that happened with that story?
Well, it sounds kind of interesting.
Okay. Well, this is what happened then. I mean, at that time I was young and I was doing a lot of stick up and rob, and I was young, Rob, and went and bought me an Eddie Bauer, 1993 Eddie Bauer. I was balling out of control. I felt like just hit a nigga for about $22,000, and not a lot of coke too.
And what
And
year?
but this was 1993. Yeah, this was 93 too.
Okay.
Yeah, this was 1993 as well. What happened was, you reap what you sow. Karma is real. So what happened was a guy came out of nowhere. Was one of my older homeboys and wanted to buy some dope, and I sold him some dope, and he got like an ounce of coke, and he came back like out of nowhere, like like that won't right. That won't right. Now this is after I'm robbing, I'm doing good, you know, um, and he came back and he said, I want my money back. I said, no, you can't get no money back, homie. So, and he said he just pulled out his gun and started shooting at me. He just started shooting at me, gunning at me. And I'm running, throwing niggas into him. I dived in the woods, and, ran, and everybody thought I was shot. Ran around the corner to one of my homeboys' house. Knocked on his door. He gave me a gun. I went back down the street. The guy was gone. Okay, so like a month later, I'm riding through that same area with one of my partners, and we really wasn't even supposed to have no guns in the car, but they snuck guns in my car any motherfucking way, my homeboys, right? And man, this is how the devil works. Now I ran right up on this guy at the stoplight on New Bern Avenue, the stoplight on New Bern Avenue and Raleigh Boulevard in Raleigh, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the guy, and I wasn't gonna do nothing to this guy when I seen him, right? So I said, ain't you the nigga that shot at me? And he just happened to say, yeah, nigga, and what? You feeling me? So when he say that, he had to have, I had to, deal with him. Right. So I, shot him and his girl, but I'm not a hell of a driver, to keep it real. So when I pulled off in front of him, he pulled off back of me, and but I was smart to not go so fast. I was slow down. I probably wouldn't be here today. And he hit the back of my car, the back of my truck, and I flipped like 4 or 5 times. And didn't get a scar on me. And all I could remember, we was listening to, my partner said the same thing. My co-defendant, he's from Durham, Stephen Sheeby. That's the high profile face Diddy uncle. But all we could think about is I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind, because we was loving Tupac in those days real bad. And that's all was in our head. And we didn't get no scars or nothing. And at first, everybody was on my side. It was like the whole city was on the strip that day. And nobody really kind of saw what went on, like the people that was out there. They didn't see the early on shooting and nothing like that, right? Right. And they just thought somebody hit my car and flipped over. Everybody was on my side, but, the police knew better than that. They started investigating and stuff and found a gun in the truck and, You
mentioned that Pop. What drug was y'all on?
You said what drug was we on?
Yes.
We was on, I think at that time we probably was on some of everything, really. We might have been keeping it real. We might have been, sniffing a little heroin in that day, and we probably was smoking woolies too. We was out of control.
Okay.
Not everybody, not because my co-defendant he didn't get high, and I'm not a I wasn't a person that got crazy high, but
right.
I would just, if it's there, I would get high, smoking. Back then everybody was, like Wu-Tang say, smoking woos at 16, like Rock Kim said. And them areas niggas was smoking woolies and and me, Durham, North Carolina, I kind of grew up with over there too. I was probably sniffing a little dope too, which is heroin,
Okay.
Yeah, right. But not at the time of the shootout at all,
Right.
But in that era, we was, niggas was getting high back then.
Were you involved in the hip hop game at all at this point?
Nah. I wasn't. That wasn't nowhere near on my mind. Period. Yeah, nowhere near on my mind. Hip hop kind of really came later when I was in the prison system. When I found knowledge of myself. When I found knowledge of self, it kind of changed my whole story. And then I found hip hop, and it gave me something to love. It gave me something to embrace, and it made me not like, I sacrificed. The streets was, still was, would do what I had to do, but it kind of gave me a purpose. Music gave me a purpose because I fell in love.
Right.
Yeah, I fell in love with music, you know, and I studied it a lot. Like knowledge itself gives you a blueprint to just master information, you know, and that's what I did. I learned and studied, and you know, some of the guys that's out here doing big things today in the music industry was like my mentors. Gave me the game on labels, and you know, not only just being an artist, I was learning, and you know how to start your own label. You know how to understand percentages, and what you're supposed to get as a producer. You know, artists, and even at that time, the Master P game with the barcode, and just accumulating numbers and stuff like that.
Right. So being locked up, you found your love for hip hop as you learned to love yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When I start, it's like you go through. It was like tragedy brings forth transformation. So it's like once you get tired of like, damn, I remember I went to the hole and it was like blood on my hands. You know, I was always fighting. I broke my fingers and I was tired, man. I really was tired. And it's a guy named Papito. I love him to death from the Virgin Islands. He loved me we were boys on the compound. And he introduced me to knowledge of self while I was in the hole. And I was actually upset that he never introduced me to knowledge of self while we were on the compound. He was like, "Ice, you weren't ready then." He was like, you weren't ready. You was moving too fast. You wouldn't have got it then. And I didn't want to hear nothing else because I was raised as a Christian, and I was conditioned by what most of us be conditioned by at an early age, passed down to our mothers and fathers. So I didn't want to hear nothing else. And I'll never forget. I love to tell this story. It was a couple of Crip dudes that act like they had so much respect for me, right? Oh, Ice this, Ice that, they boy and everything. They heard me over there arguing with Papito because I was, denying the knowledge. A lot of times when you're ignorant, you're denying when people trying to empower you. You're not open-minded because your vision is limited. So what happened was they sent a letter over to him and said, don't give him the knowledge. He's going to step on it. And then he told me, he said, see, look, he showed me the letter. He said, those niggas know you a real nigga. He said, they know if a nigga like you get the knowledge, you gonna do something with it. He said, so they don't want you to have it. And that's when I accepted it. That's when I knew. I started crying. I said, because I knew if these guys didn't want me to have this knowledge, it must be something important here. And that's when I opened up, and that kind of was my start of knowledge itself. And I continued to travel historically and spiritually ever since,
Right on.
Yes, sir.
So that's 93. You spent 6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
Come out is 99.
Yeah, I come home in 99. Yes, sir. I come home in January 1st, 1999. Yep.
So what's the first thing you do when you come home?
Actually, I partied a little bit probably with my homeboys, and everybody. Now I'm rapping, and I got all these great big ideas. I'm trying to get all my boys together. At that time, I think I probably went in the studio and rapped over a whole lot of other people's beats just to hear our sound. And then I took those songs to the street, and all those CDs right now, niggas love. I got niggas still to this day, man. A lot of my old stuff, people were like, yo, man, that was some of the best music I ever heard. Like Ice bring some, where's that old shit you had back? This was more the radio niggas and connecting with all those guys, over the years. This was just straight up the gutter. And
this is what you wrote while you was inside or when you got out?
Oh yeah, I wrote inside it. Yeah, inside. Yeah, I wrote so much music on it. I still got, a whole lot of, different levels of music all over, like typed up and boxes that I wrote while I was in prison. But yeah, so I put that music. Go ahead.
How did you find not being interested in music at all? I know you said through your knowledge yourself, but like to write a dope rhyme is not something that's easy. Like, how did you find that space that you went from not doing that to doing it, and then especially because of the level that you reached?
It actually, but and it's another thing. I study nature, but that's another story. So I'm a 5 and a 7 in numerology. So usually a lot of 7s are creative. So I'm naturally creative, but when you don't know yourself, you don't know your capabilities at the end of the day. So writing is really actually easy for me. And then when you got a story, because I've been through so much that I don't done so much shit in the street that I had a whole lot to write about. And then when I become conscious and evolving, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I brought that aspect out of me too, because it's just a process of learning, and the more you educate yourself, the better you get with your skills. But it was a gift actually, so it ain't hard. It was never hard for me musically wise. Once I tuned in, once I realized, actually I used to write hip hop when I was a kid. Like everybody knew me as I used to play rap, but I never took it seriously. You know what I'm saying? But I was always known, like everybody that know me from Raleigh, Durham, was mainly Raleigh. From a kid, they know Ice used to rap a lot, like just But I was playing. I wasn't serious. I didn't take it serious. Right. I didn't know. And then I actually thought rapping was some sucker shit as I got older, because I took this gangster image on. But when I got to prison, God will reveal you to your gifts, and that's what happened.
And you were talking about how when you came out and you spitting stuff over other people's beats, and the streets were loving it, right?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. Then I went and got dudes with production, and stuff like that. But when you come home, you just want to hear yourself. You've been in prison all this time rapping, so you just go get some known instrumentals and rap over them. So, but later on, I started getting producers from all over Raleigh, Durham, and some of us guys are still around each other today. We share a bond,
right?
But
I want to throw this in there. I've been in the game a minute and dealing with all kind of MCs, and what I found is, I done put a whole lot of different mixtapes out and this and that. And one of the most popular things that I ever been a part of, and I never seen a bigger, a bigger buzz on anything other than this time I was dealing with this cat named Nuke G in Greensboro. Okay. And he was waiting for his court date to come up over a shooting. And during that time period, he would come to the crib and we would record all day. And we did enough music, like a whole entire tape. And out of all the talented MCs I've ever worked with, that music that we did was probably had the strongest reception in the streets. Like, people absolutely loved what we did.
Incredible.
And
I like to hear that too.
Yeah, I never seen, like, I dealt with a lot of people. I never had anything in my hand before that I felt like, Holly, this is, like, I honest to God think, like, unfortunately, when his court date came up, he went to jail. Wow. And now we sitting here with this music that we made. The streets are loving it. And I've been putting stuff out in the streets for a long time. Right. But this dude, the realness that was in, I think it's something about being real that people connect with differently than anything else I've been a part of. And that tape that we made was like, and at some point, I don't know what happened to it. I don't have it anymore. But that period of time, like when we finished that, like you said, I had people still coming to me for years after, like, yo, man,
years later,
if I could get a copy of that right now. And when I look back on it, like, it's almost like we had some Master P energy going on before Master P happened. This was the summer of 95, maybe 94, 95. And dude got locked up. And I feel like had he been able to stay in the streets, man, we'd be telling a whole different story right now. Right.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Sir. So I seen the power of what happened when a dude who really got street storage, street credibility, and street support gets in the booth. Like, dudes support that. And it ain't even all about being the most lyrical guy in the world. It's just being the realest dude on the mic.
Right. And people connect to that authenticity and that spirit, you can't deny it's undeniable.
Yeah, so I seen that before. So when you said that, I know what you're talking about, and I can imagine that people were just like, yo, I gotta have this because, this is rare. Everybody, you don't get that, especially home cooked. You know what I'm saying?
And then when it's that real, and then people know your story sometimes as well, you know, they digest it probably even more, you know, because they know it's like, this is not a lie. This is real. You know, I saw this, so I heard about this.
Remind me of my first movie.
Yeah.
Was it the first movie?
Yes. The Hood
Okay,
Classic
that's
Heat.
what's up. What's the name of it?
The Hood Classic Heat.
The Hood Classic Heat?
Heat. Like gun,
okay.
heat. Hot.
Okay, like heat. Okay. So something you wrote?
Yes.
Okay, dope. I need to try to get a copy of that. You know, check that out. You know,
it's like a unicorn in the streets.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So now you're taking this stuff to the studio. So what happened next after you start recording in the studio? Like, since I watch you growing this thing, and I know that I want our show to be informative too, and teach people
definitely.
how to move from one step to the next. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, so tell me where to take you next. You go in the studio.
It's wild stories. You know, like you know DBS and you know the radio guys. You know, DB's a very iconic guy, very popular guy in the city. You know, and we all know each other from school. You know, we all went to Enloe High School together and stuff like that.
Word.
So it's like when I got out, I'm known to be a terror. So everybody looking at me like, Ice rapping? What the fuck is Ice rapping? But what I did is like, you know, I didn't only just go hard in my city. I tried to early on go to LA. I just said I'm going out to LA. I actually met Mo Prince Shakur, which is Tupac's brother, and he had a cousin in North Carolina. They introduced me to him, so I went out there with him and Big Country. I went out with all Tupac boys, his own boys, like Big Country, my nigga from Arkansas, but he live in LA. And you know, they was doing, you know, they was grinding, they was doing big things at the time. Big Psych, you know, Psych, Tupac boy, all of. I'd be in the house hanging out with all those guys, you know, rest in peace to Psych as well. So I started doing a little, we doing rapping with them, going to the Century Club. This is way back. And we got on Big Boy show, actually. Me and one of my homeboys, another guy named Catfish, rest in peace, he's dead now too. We got on the show on Big Boy show. We went to Big Boy, talked to him. I still got pictures of all that, man, way back. Big Boy, that's when he was big as 400-500 pounds and shit. Right. And we got on, you know, Mo Pre. At the time it was Puffy. Puffy was, you know, they was having an issue with about the Pac stuff. Like, oh, you know, they was, you know, had little C's on the radio, so it was big in LA, and they was, you know. They wanted Mo to come on there and talk about, you know, about the beef with Puffy and Biggie and Pac. This was still going on, you know, 99, 2000. They asked Mo to come on the show. So I got an opportunity to go on the show with him and be on the radio live in LA because that was my nigga, you know what I'm saying? And then later on, they called us back and we got on the Goodfellas show. Goodfellas, you remember Goodfellas? They was up there. I think that's their names. Like some cats, I think they were out of Missouri, but they was on the radio show in LA at the time. So, you know, we did that show. I was able to express myself. So when I came home from back to Raleigh, you know, niggas had to be like, you know, they had to show me some respect. They had to show me a little love. You know, like, okay, he ain't just a street. I was thinking this should be for real. So right. Me and DB started kind of like going around a little bit at that time. It hadn't got serious yet. You know, we started connecting. And then one day, this is what really happened. This is how I broke into my city with the radio and everything. I thought to myself, I've terrorized this city for years, right? I said, so, you know, I was hearing that the radio is how you make it. So I was like, well, you know, and I was hearing that the radio didn't give people opportunities and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I got to go holler at them, you know. So I took two of my, you know, goons with me, and we went up to the radio station. You feel me? So I knocked on the door. So I got to actually arguing with the guy at the door. You know, it was the older guy at the door, and we got to argue. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was, and we was arguing. It was getting ugly. And DB said, "No, Ice, this is the program director, Ice. You can't do that, Ice. You can't do that." And so young, and we real good friends now. You know, I haven't called him in a while, but we're real good friends now. He said, "Hold up." He just said, "Hold up." You know, he said, "Hold up. I feel something." He said, "I feel something." He said, "Man, let me ask you something." He said, "Come to my office, man. I want you to come to my office." So I went to his office, and he said, man, you know, he wanted me to tell my story. And I told him my story. I said, "Look here, man, I've been out here in the streets all my life, man, in these streets, you know, wild and just out of control." I said, "Now I got something to bring to my people, my community. You know what I'm saying? I got all. I feel like I got something to bring. You know what I'm saying? To do something good. And he said, let me hear the music. He said, let me hear the music. So I let him hear the music. I had a song called The Black Superhero. And, I guess he liked it because the next week later I was in rotation on the radio station in 97.5. So that's when, a lot of people took me a whole lot more serious. The streets took the music serious, and that like kind of opened a lot of doors for me for starting to learn and educate, learning, the media-based BDS game, and I started just connecting the dots, networking, you heard the record, Cap J. Remember, I had the Thug Angel record, and I met you like that. You wanted to know, who is these guys? It's dope. So I met you like that. You know what I'm saying, with the Thug Angel record, and I went over there and met you. When I think DV told me, he liked the record. He want to play the record, and I went over there and met you. And I mean, look at us now. We on podcast 20 fucking years later.
Yeah.
So
DVS turned me on.
Yeah.
Yep, he told me all about you, and I said, "Yo, we're gonna introduce this to Greensboro too." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So during that time period, I remember those days. Used to come up, and I saw this man working.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I respect that I knew, like, I always had a requirement. If you're gonna bring me something, then like don't just bring me something, ask me to play it, and it ain't ready to do nothing with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when Herukhuti or my man Ice showed up, I knew that if I play this song, that ain't just gonna be the end of it.
Right. It's gonna come with a package.
He's gonna keep promoting.
Right.
He's out here hustling. You know what I'm saying? I saw that firsthand. So, you gotta respect that, because I knew that. And also, DV told me how the joint was going in Raleigh and stuff. So I'm like, yo, we all one state. It ain't the Greensboro and Raleigh. We all together in this. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to do what I can, try to get this thing popping, because I see this dude out here working. And, we started, and we've had a relationship ever since. So somewhere during this time period, like, tell me what happened to go from you on the mic here to you going to LA and just leaving this area, going to LA and continuing your story there. Like, cause this is not something that happened overnight.
No. Like I told you early on, what happened is I was already coming out here to LA doing my thing on all types of different levels. I was already meeting people and networking and stuff like. And I knew that, this is what I learned in the feds. Eventually, if all your demons are in your city, right, so as far as the police know you, and you got a very serious reputation. I was probably going to end up killing somebody. Somebody might end up killing me just based on my history. And the police, man, I got kidnapped by the police. I got plenty of drama stories, man. My name was public enemy number one. So I know I had to leave eventually. So, I caught a case again in 2006, 2008. When guy set me up and stuff, right? But they found him dead like 7 days later. And, and I ain't had nothing to do with it. Just God bless me. I was spiritually protected. I had a few other charges. I beat one. I went to trial on a case, and I eventually won it on appeal. So I always told God, I said, if I'm able to get out of this one, man, they won't never see me again around here in any kind of way. I'm going to leave town. So when I got out, get back to the streets. In 2-3 months from then, I just took off to LA. Like, I told my girl I'm gone. She said, "Okay, go, and I'll be there." So I went out, came out to LA, staying in hotels in Long Beach, and just grinding and networking, and I knew how to move. And I still had country. I always went to his Denver Lane Denver Lane is Blood area where he stayed. We ain't on no gang time on no level, but he stayed in the Blood hood, a dangerous Blood hood. So I would go stay with him and hotels, because I don't like heat like that. He kept it super hot in the house, so I would just go to hotels and grind it out. And then my girl came out, and we legitimized everything. We've been out here now 15 years since then. So right. that's how that was my transition.
Now, one thing I want you to explain to people is, a lot of folks out here playing the game, and you were able to get out of some trouble. And a lot of people get in trouble and can't get out. And I don't think people understand the cost of getting out. What does it take to get out of a situation? I want you to explain this to people that are listening because, you know, I remember that time period too. And it wasn't easy. It's easier to get into trouble than it is to get out. And getting out costs.
Right.
Like, how much money does it take? Now, I'm not saying paying people off. I'm saying just lawyers and legal fees and all that. How much money does it take to beat a case?
I mean, it's really like this here, right? And you know, that's a good question, right? But it's really like this. To me, money is one thing, but not being ignorant is our issue. Like a lot of our people are so ignorant pertaining to the law. Is that be the issue? Because you can pay your lawyer $20,000 in this system, this corrupt system, black or white lawyers is like they'll cross you, and you will never recognize that you being crossed because you've done no research on the law. So you don't really know what's happening. So most people problem is believing in attorneys and assuming that they're going to do right by them. So me, myself, I had 8 lawyers. All right. My girl actually hired me 8 lawyers. She's right here right now. She can tell you the same thing. Every one of them, because they wanted me so bad, right? And they tried to cross me, every one of them. And if I didn't have knowledge of self, and knowledge itself gives you the blueprint to master information. I studied information well. I learned a lot, even more when I was actually on safekeeping at CP, and a lot of guys helped me. A lot of guys empowered me with loudness because they saw I was a fighter. They saw I wanted to really learn the law. It's a trip. I would be up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Everybody be like, please, Ice, be quiet. I'm around death row inmates and everything. Ice, you talk about law all the time because it was something that I fell in love with. Because I realized, this is how I'm going to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? The more I learned, the more I would see all the issues that they was on. So it ain't even really about your money. It's about information. It's about you doing the research so you can recognize what's going on, so you can defend yourself from your own attorney sometimes, and you can make them do what they're supposed to do when you're aware of it, because you can expose them. Because when you go in the courtroom, you're fighting against your attorney, the district attorney, and the judge, and the jury. So it's like, so if you don't do the research, how you gonna know what's going on? You feeling me? How you gonna know if somebody really jerking you? So you're gonna base everything on I believe he's for me. You assume he's for you, and then you got ignorant, friends, mothers, fathers that don't know the law, and they're telling them, well, you need to tell your son to take this plea bargain, So right. It's like it's a lot of ignorance going on,
and you end up paying for your own jail time. Paying the lawyer to send you to jail.
I like that. Ooh, that's exactly what happens. And if you interviewed a lot of people, I'm talking about professional, educated people. I'm talking about doctors. I'm talking about people that don't made millions of dollars legal. Corporate wise, legitimate wise, that don't got caught up in situations, and they can tell you the same story. Like they was taken advantage of because they didn't know the law. Even they'll take advantage of an 80-year-old lady, right? I kind of despise a lot of attorneys because they take advantage of people so much, and it's like it's like that's what they do. But if one of them got on this show today, they would defend their brotherhood. But 98% of them, that's what they do. Criminally and civil. They do the same thing, because I've seen it on a civil level as well. They take advantage of your lack of knowledge. So if you don't do your research, because what happened to me was I ended up finding all my lawyers, and I found some evidence against the district attorney that my attorney, should I even say his name? Attorney in Durham, I ain't gonna even say his name. I ain't gonna do him like that. It's a couple of them too, but there's one of them withheld my evidence against me. You know what I'm saying? But God is so good. I lost the trial. I took all the paperwork, and I looked at the paperwork, and I said, damn, here's the evidence right here. So when I went back to court for some other cases, I exposed the DA that was telling me, I'm going to take you out, I'm going to eliminate you. God blessed me to have this evidence to expose him in the courtroom. So the judge took my side. After he saw I had this evidence, he looked at them like, y'all letting this street guy handle y'all in the courtroom like this here. Y'all need to do something with this. So then after that, they backed up off me,
Right.
They backed up off me. And they let me pick my own judge. And my girl just said that, and they let you pick your own judge. Like usually in North Carolina, the DA gets to pick the judge. The judge asked me, what judge you on it? Because they was doing ugly stuff to me. They would like chain me up and all type of stuff to try to make it look like I was a bad guy. I wasn't even doing nothing, man. And I would go off on the officers who would to bring me to court like that, because I was like, yo, y'all out of order. Like to even do this here. He was like, man, that's what the DA told us to do. Try to make me look like I was a horrible, like I was a terrorist.
Coming there like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, real talk. But one of the guys, I told him, don't never say nothing to me again. One of the sheriffs downtown, but guess what he did? He went and told the judge, like, yo, that man ain't did nothing. They made us put him in all this stuff. They told us that's how they want me to come down. And the judge saw that and like, and what's his name, baby? Judge who? He was the head judge at that time. He said, nah, we ain't going for that. And basically, Javier let me pick my own judge. I picked a judge named Judge man, and Judge Whiteman was laughing because he was telling the DA all of them, like, ha, 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 y'all can't have them all, like basically let them know, like, y'all get a lot of us, but you can't have them all. And that young man there, he handled his business because, he did his research. When you go in there with intelligence and you can articulate yourself and you're not afraid, they don't want you in the courtroom because you're giving the other scared people strength, and they don't want nobody empowering nobody, So at the end of the day, I got myself out of my situation. Not no lawyer got me out. Even though you need them, but you still need to do your own research.
So now we in LA, and you told us, you stay in the hotel. Girl comes out, you're legitimizing things. What's the next step?
When I got to LA, it kind of jumped out kind of fast with the things I was doing because I already had my radio station behind me. So when they come to the BET, when they come out here with BET, it's like, okay, Ike's out here now. We don't live in no this. So, me and my girl always in the flight. We always connected to, the aspect of LA where things are popping at. So now I can be a resource for the music industry, like radio guys, radio personalities, and let them do like parties at my house, like rooftop parties at my house. So, we damn near, I was able to damn near, basically connect with some of everybody pertaining to like all the cities in the country damn near was coming to these parties, and we would ball out, have fun. So I was able to build tons of relationship with them. And not only that, and even the things that I was doing out here, I was making a lot of noise where people was hearing about me even out here, like, who is this North Carolina nigga? Ooh, I was running with like 100 Mexicans at the time, and they loved me. Like, and people out here be like, yo, Mexicans in Southern California don't fuck with blacks. Like, you better check yourself. But I'm not from California, so I really didn't get it at that time. I was like, they cool with me though. I'm from North Carolina. So they supported me heavy, and then they introduced me to like, I started meeting the all types of guys that were serious in the street guys, Grape Street guys. And so what happened was this guy that was signed with Dr. Dre, Slim the Mobster, one of my partners out here. He was, he write a lot of Dre stuff. Like I could name some of the stuff he don't wrote for Dre that it would actually blow your mind, right? And we went out to a club one night. He just met me. He was hearing about me and stuff like that. And they kind of like Carolina guys out here. They like our energy. You know what I'm saying? They like, they like our style. We're a little different. So his credit card, he couldn't pay for his drinks and stuff, right? So, I'm a giver, man. I've always been a giver. I love to help people and stuff. So I just pulled out my credit card and said, man, just, get back at me, man. Just take care. It was like, I think a $1,500, $1,600 bill or something. Right. So he looked at his whole crew. It was like about 20 of us, right? And, and he was like, I've been around all y'all niggas for years. He said, I don't even know this nigga. And he just did this for me. He was like, yo, I swear to God, the next day that nigga said, yo, I'm coming to pick you up. We're going to Dr. Dre house. I said, what? He said, yeah, I want you to meet Dre, nigga. So he came in and picked me up. And, there's a lot of stories with us out here, but he took me to Dre house. I spent the night with Dr. Dre. We partied all night. I don't know if you ever see the movie with Ice-T and the documentary and stuff like that. When he was on Dr. Dre, the it's like sitting on top of the fucking world and looking back at everything. So I set out at Dr. Dre house, got on the phone, called my father, like, man, I'm at Dr. Dre house. Right. So, that was a hell of an experience from a nigga that been through what I've been through, a North Carolina nigga, just coming out to LA grinding to meet Dr. Dre, stay at his house, and then leave till like 9 o'clock the next morning, 10 o'clock the next morning. And Chalk, I don't know if you know who Chalk is, but that's the one. That's Slim uncle, legendary Chalk. Chalk is the one who actually the Suge Knight story where Suge supposed to hung Vanilla Ice over the rim and got his publishing back. That's Chalk who the one that actually wrote all that shit for Vanilla Ice and shit like that. So that's his uncle. That's my nigga. Chalk done a lot of music for me too. Crazy producer. So Chalk told me like, yo man,
where did your financing come from for this trip?
Well, for the trip in LA?
Yeah. Were you able to sustain while you were out there too? Because you rubbing shoulders with some big names.
Yeah, but that wasn't just off money. That was off grinding and stuff. Just right. I grind. I handle my business. I definitely, handling my business. Put it like that. We ain't gonna speak too far into that, but
okay.
But I definitely handle my business, and I had a good woman.
Right.
Yeah, and I had a good woman.
None of our listeners to listen to your story and think that it's gonna be so easy when you gotta grind. That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
Yeah,
you just ain't gonna pop out. Yeah. If you think you just gonna go out there with no hustle in your heart, you gonna be homeless.
Yeah, remember this? Here, I was coming to LA when I first come home, so I kind of knew the area. I kind of knew and met people. So it was like when I moved out here, I was ready because I had already connected with a lot of people. Like look, most people come out to LA and think they can live, and they go home in 6 months. 3 months, maybe not even that long. Right. But I did my homework before I came to LA. Okay. So I knew I was ready. When I came, I was ready. I already knew how to move.
So now you got, you created a network. You hooked up with the right people. And now I remember this is before I start seeing the Herukhuti 2.0. Yes, so all this is happening, but there's no videos yet, right?
Yeah, I think I did have videos when I first came out here. I did the Thug Angel video with Zena Foster. That's Tank wife. R&B Tank. Mm-hmm. R&B got Tank. His wife and a couple of her friends did the video with me. Thug Angel with another artist named Sonny Bass. Another guy that's rest in peace. He just died not too long ago.
Sonny Bass is dead.
Yeah, Sonny Bass is dead. He died in a car accident about a year ago. Yeah.
Dang, I'm sorry to hear that.
Definitely. Sorry what happened to the brother, but he's in the right place now. He's with the Creator, so he's probably doing better than we are right now.
So I saw it. Yeah, that's the artist that the second. Like, I consider the your Raleigh music time, that's 1.0. That's version 1.0. Version 2.0, right. Sonny Bass is a frequent collaborator that I remember seeing you with a lot,
Right.
So where was he from? Was he somebody you met out there or somebody you...
Yeah, he actually from Garner, North Carolina. Yeah, he's from Garner, North Carolina.
Right.
And I met him down back home in the studio and we built a relationship, and I brought him out to LA, took him to the BET Awards, in Atlanta one time, and it was a talented brother.
Yeah. I remember. I remember during that time period, I kind of saw you making that transition. It seemed like you were kind of preparing him to be the next guy.
Yeah, to a degree, to a degree, but actually. Like 2012, the artist that I'm currently working with, one of the artists that I'm currently rocking with is G Mac the Bandman, is who really that I locked in and signed, like 2014, 2015. Yeah, that era. That's when I started more grinding, more. I was getting older, so I started on the label tip. I had all these relationships with these radio guys. I hang all of them, my niggas from Greg Street, Atlanta to Wild Wayne, New Orleans, all these niggas is my boys. We hang out like me and you hang out. When they come out here, I pick them up. Oh yeah. My girl told me, tell them about your sync placement. So I got sync placements too. I don't know if you know about the sync placements.
Tell us about that.
I was able to, like I told you, I roll with the Mexicans, right? And one of the Mexicans like love my music. Like he's like, yo, he's like, my boy would come over my house every day. Like, yo, he love your shit. He's like, yo, that's gangster. So one time, a guy that was a company in Beverly Hills called what's the name of it? Yeah, Rag. I can't think of it, but it's Rags. You know what I'm saying? Recording artist Guild. Yeah, recording artist Guild. They had a setup for like with I guess line gigs or whatever. One of the head guys over there, we got cool too. They needed some music for a movie, so a lot of guys were running over there trying to place their music. So my boy was like, yo, they want some gangster shit though. He said, and I was like, man, this is a guy that y'all need to hear his music. So bam, they asked me to send some music. So I said, okay. I went over there, signed up with Recording Artist Guild, dude named Byron Booker. Yeah, Byron Booker. And I gave them the music. I swear to God, they called me back like an hour later. Was like, yo, they love it. And they was like, yo, they want to give you, they don't want just one, they want two. And it's in the movie. It's in a movie called Fire with Bruce Willis and 50 Cent and Rosario Dawson and some other key actors that's pretty popular too as well. But that was one of my blessings from this experience over the years.
Right, that's what's up.
Have you seen the check?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been getting checked for 10 years. I'm about to get a big check next month because they owe me some retroactive issues. So yeah, they real good. Yeah. I got a decent upfront and every 90 days I get a check. I get 2 checks. I got 2 songs. Yeah.
A few years back, I'm looking on all those hip hop websites, Media Takeout, and all these places, and I saw a case about you filing a lawsuit.
We can go there. Yeah, we can go there. But remember the first case, I don't know if you remember, it was against Irv Gotti. The CD I came out with in the streets when I came home was Blood in My Eyes. If you remember, Ja Rule came out with a CD after 50 had destroyed him called Blood in My Eyes. Right. Irv Gotti stole that from me. There's politics behind lawsuits and stuff like that, but Irv Gotti actually, I gave him the CD, and my homeboy, Jamaican guy from New York, he told me, he said, yo, them niggas was on it. He said, because he was in the car, he didn't even tell him who I was. He just scared to cuss CD in, and he was like, yo, who that nigga? Who is that nigga? They woke Irv up. And so then after that, they asked me to write some. Irv sent the word, and like, yo, tell him to write some commercial stuff. I sent some commercial stuff, but nothing ever happened. And that's make a long story short. But they stole just the concept. That's pretty much all that Irv them stole. But later on, what you're talking about is the Kendrick Lamar issue and stuff, and that's another thing. I'm not gonna get too far in it, but that's why doing your research and educating yourself about things are so important, because some of the factors that went down. I was working with a guy named by the name of Joey Lineberg and Terrence Martin, and I've been working with. They are actually Grammy Award producers on Kendrick Lamar. What was it, Pimp a Butterfly? Yeah, Pimp a Butterfly. So I've been working with Joey. Joey is my boy. I've been working with Joey since I've been out here. That's like, 10 years at least, comfortable with Joey, and that's why you still learning. When you're doing music, man, it's always a learning process, because there's a lot of people that's aware of that you don't know certain things. You feel me? And they basically, kind of take advantage of you. And my song that I had called "The Loyalty," which is one of Kendrick Lamar's biggest hits. If you go back and do the research on that, Kendrick will tell you that he actually, Terrence Martin actually brought him Lord, and Terrence Martin act like he did this and did that, and he said, man, I got a song for you, and then he jumped on it, and Terrence Martin got credit, how you getting credit for that, like how you getting writer credit, you feel me? So that if you understand the politics, and don't nobody got that. I know what the niggas did at the end of the day, but like I said, it's politics with everything, and but they definitely stole it. All right, yeah. They changed certain things up and stuff like that. I had a direct access, with those Grammy Award producers. And Joey's done a lot of production for me as well. Like he's super talented. I don't met RZA, Redman. I just done a song with Carl Thomas. Me and Carl Thomas vibed in the studio. Everybody goes to his studio out here. A lot of guys, crazy guys, but they stole my things. They got away with it, but. It is what it is, and you keep learning, you keep grinding, and God is so good, man. Things are still happening, for my record label, which is Money Over Death Records. Things are still happening, man. I've been blessed, to tap into a whole lot lately, man. So just stay tuned,
So what's next?
Hey, listen, man. I hopefully you got the email Stephanie sent you. I want y'all to play this, man. I need everybody to listen to this. I got an artist by the name of Murder. Just got out of prison, been through a lot of struggles, but everybody have heard him so far is like, losing their mind. Like all the producers, some of the biggest producers around in Raleigh Durham are losing their mind. So it's a lot of buzz is going on about this guy, and I also got, my very talented artist, G Mac the Band Man as well, but I have them on a record called P Into the Booth. And I think y'all need to hear that, man. He's something special, and he's a natural. He's like what MO3 was bringing, but like times 10, all right? Times 10. He's soulful wild.
Hey, man, we appreciate you telling us this story, man. Everybody listening, I hope y'all pay attention to everything that you learn, because we just ain't here to just tell these stories for nothing. Like, all of this is free information. That you can take, you want to know how to do. Well, we taught you a lot. We taught you how to get yourself out of trouble. Taught you how to build something from scratch. Taught you about taking advantage of your own creativity. Yeah,
building relationships.
Building relationships. All this stuff matters if you're gonna get in the game. And I hope if you notice, ain't no selling out going on in here either.
Nah. Ain't none of that going on. Ain't none of that going on at all. Yeah. That's why I say God is so good. Like it's, I'll talk to you later, man. But God is good. Like it's like, like if you work hard, man. Like Nipsey say, don't give up, man. And it's a marathon. Remember, man. But if you continue, it's like you seek and you shall find. And eventually, things fall in place, man. So, man, it's when I say it's on, it's on, man.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing, you ain't hear this dude sitting around here talking about messing with a bunch of ratchet hoes either.
Nah.
Hey, no, seriously. If you want to sustain success, you're gonna have to have, a woman with some sense in your corner.
Without a doubt, I got a highly educated woman. Spiritually motivated women, man. It's like we got a spiritual connection, and that's what keeps us, moving forward. At the end of the day, we're tapped into the, our ancestors' spiritual system. So that's Herukhuti Ausar. Herukhuti stands for the enforcer of the laws of nature, meaning bringing forth righteousness at all times. And Ausar stands for God, which is the oldest name of God left on the oldest monuments in the world, which are the pyramids.
Right on.
Yeah. So
right
that's
on.
what we had.
Hey, man, thank you for sharing all that with us today, man. We appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you, Kev. I love you, man. And your partner as well. Much respect to you. And thanks to y'all for giving me great energy, all right? Great energy.
This is Capital City with Capital J.